Huh. Definitely looks different than before. This used to be colored. Hi. Hello everyone, this is Animation4. Welcome back to some more the making of Influx Remastered. Last episode we finished off the white wool. I've now removed some of the redstone that was from around it before. Looks a lot nicer. I don't remember these names. Oh, these are things that give you the tools. Yes, it is much nicer. I finished up the post wool into the intersection, so it's now at a point where you actually can get to the intersection. As you can see, I have the intersection, a big copy box, a copy paste box, or a copy pasta box, if that's your style. You do see these lines here. When I'm in creative, you can't see these lines. When you're in adventure or survival, which you'll never be in survival, you can break this and get out. You don't see them, so don't have to worry about them. And it is up to 16 parts. And as you can see, it's all disabled because I just ran through it and it works fine. Few tiny tweaks to how it works, but I like how it turned out. So, intersection 1 is... I've still been debating how I want to do this. It would still be nice to have everything not teleport. Still think that'd be really nice. Tricky spot there is if I don't teleport you away, then everything kind of ends up colliding at the same spot. So for instance, here's intersection 2 right here with a nice hole in the roof. The previous map was well known for that. Here's the previous the second intersection here, intersection 2. You can note by the 2 on the floor. This intersection has pink, magenta, and yellow. The yellow will take you all the way over here. And if I tried to put this right next to the intersection, there'd be that large box, like, right here. The pink wool takes you right there, which then goes straight that direction. So the pink wool would actually collide with where the yellow wool would be. And that would create more problems than just cloning in the intersection. I'd have to worry about cloning in the entire yellow wool section also. I'd still like to do it though. How I do it is like this. So here is green. Green kind of does this thing, you can see it here, where you would be here. You get close enough to this wall where you don't see anything but the green and the stuff around it. And then it would teleport you over here, so it doesn't look like you moved, except for the fact that you teleported, so it looked like you moved. And you're here, and you get to this little thing, and you're at the green wall doing the green wall thing. There's this walkaway almost, this path away from the intersection. I think if I incorporate those paths everywhere, then I can do this, because essentially you are actually going to be physically walking in between sections as opposed to being teleported to the general area of where you have to be. I'm going to have to move things around a lot, but considering how much less redstone I'm going to need for most of this, it'll probably be it. The blue wool here is going to be the biggest pain if I'm not using teleports. Oh, I'm still, like, my mind is exploding trying to figure out how I'm going to get that to work, if I'm going to get that to work, because theoretically I need an infinitely length map. Possible, because the map kind of does go on forever. So I'm going to try it. Let's see where it goes, because I think I can do some cool things with, like, right now you kind of get there and you're in the middle of it, which is good. I could do some cool things where you use the teleporter, you're not necessarily immediately in the middle of everything. Like here's pink. You get to pink. There's a small hallway, but then you're instantly doing something. Essentially, I just have to turn some hallways a bit and add a few more. I really don't know. Could work. I might not do it for all of them, but I'll try to do it for as many as I can. I'm gonna work on green. We're gonna see what happens. It'd be cool destroying the intersection to get this to work. Luckily, I have this right here to fix it once it gets destroyed. Alright, build time. Alright, so here is the first structure. It does intersect with intersection 1. Yeah, I said that right. It goes over to just this curve right here. It's this whole structure. I'm going to save it. Go out to 839, 800. I'm going to clone it in. You can also see over here, here is intersection 1, founded by lots of little red squares, and lots of little blue squares on the inside. So these red squares are actually called structure void, and when it clones in a structure, essentially it doesn't do anything with those blocks. So if I'm cloning an intersection 1 and there's something right here, it's not going to delete it and replace it with air, because it's structure void. It's going to leave it how it is. The blue is air, so it will actually replace it with air if there's anything inside. Same thing here, I have structure void. So I'm going to load in green hall 1. There is, it's big. I load it in, and you can see right away there's a lot of stuff on here that I don't necessarily want, like all this blue. I don't want this bit here. It's not part of the intersect, or it's not part of the structure. So I'm gonna take it off. And it goes around here. I think there's some. That's pretty much it. So there's no real easy way to create this structure void because you can't place it on itself. So if I put a structure void here, you can only see it if you have this on save. Have this turned on. So if I put a structure void here, I can't place another void off of it. I can only place it on a solid block like this. So it's not easy to place. It is a big pain. What I usually end up doing is I'll stand here and go fill from this position to like, oh, I don't know how big this thing is. Actually, I'll just do exact coordinates. And way over to here. Structure void. Replace air. Obviously, that's not exactly what I want, but it will make it easier to do the rest because it's easier to break structure void than it is to create it. All this stuff in here is structure void. If there's a structure in the middle of, if there's blocks already here, it's not going to delete them. However, that becomes a problem with this interior because all of these I do want to delete. I got to go through and whack all these. I'll probably end up running a fill command for. I can do fill there. Ooh. There. Replace. Structure void. There you go. I'm going to do that for all these hallways. And then we'll have a nice clean structure as opposed to a dirty structure. Oh, my own? Hi. Yeah, so it's been a while. I think I already started this episode. That was like a week ago. But this is, I'm done with the green. Lime wool, well, this is lime, not green. The lime wool is now complete. It features a little bit of puzzles, a little bit of trickery. It features a little bit of trickery, and it features a puzzle. So I'm not gonna show. I'll show the puzzle. I won't show the solution. I'm not gonna do that. But if you played the game before, it's the same puzzle, just a little bit different. Actually, I have to remind myself there's something I gotta fix. I gotta put a note to myself somewhere. But here is this. Where is it? Here. Note to self. Alt solution. There's two very slight variations on the solution to the puzzle that I forgot about. So, the lime wool is done. It takes up this space right here. And you can see there's a lot of these white blocks that represent the areas that are going to be cloned in. There are 3 structures to the lime wool. And, yeah, 3. And there are 6 parts to it. Here they are. Here you got reset, start up, first hallway, left spawn, in puzzle. 3 is kind of a big one. That's the entire puzzle, finish puzzle, tricks, and so on and so forth. As you see, that's there. So the hardest things so far, this is more of a looking back. The hardest things so far have been not the actual redstone itself. That's been pretty straightforward. The hardest things have been micromanaging every little thing that you could possibly do. It's a lot harder than you think, because at any given point you could die and come back. You could drop items on the ground and get them later. You could break things and come back to some of it broken, some of it not broken. I'll try to give you an example of what I mean. I'm going to skip ahead here. So this is obviously the spawn in like I showed before. I'm going to skip ahead here to the puzzle section, and I'll show you what I mean by that. This is the room a little bit later in. This is the first puzzle, or the only puzzle of the green wall, the first puzzle I've re-added to the game. And you can see there's this chest here. Actually, I realized I turned the volume up for something very specific, and I forgot to turn it back down. I'm sorry. I don't have like 1%. Okay, yeah, this chest here. There's a lot of items. A full chest of stuff. Now what if I do this? If I take all these items, and I decide I'm going to throw them all over the floor. Like, people do that. People might decide that's the best choice of action. And then what they do is they pick up their handy-dandy hint book, which has a suicide option in it. So if at any point you're stuck, you want to start over, you want to leave, you suicide, you add 1 to your death counter, you go back to thing. It's basically it basically kills you. At any point you can do that. I now have all these items because I didn't fix that. I'll have to do that. So there's something I forgot about. If you kill yourself with items in your inventory, the items are still there. And if I go back to that section now, if I look back here, you can see all the items are actually still there for right now. But if I were to proceed onward, all those items would be removed when I got to the part before it, which I think is part 3? Or when I think if I'm in part 3 and I get like right here. I think my section's wrong. Yeah, my section's probably, yeah. Section 5. I'm on the lime wool, and I get right here. All those items get destroyed, so if I was climbing up the ladder to come back to this puzzle, there are no more items. It also clears my inventory. So there's a reset point right here. It's like this entire ladder is a reset point for the room, for your inventory, in case I miss anything. And obviously I did miss clearing your inventory when you die. So that's something I have to pay attention to. Like this block there. Other than that, it's been pretty straightforward. It keeps track of when you get the wool and not whether or not the wool's in your inventory. So just like the white wool here, it's in the center space. If the game detects there's no longer a lime wool in the center space of where the lime wool is, you then have it, and it doesn't care where it ends up after that. You can move it over a square. You can just throw it on the ground. Doesn't matter. You have touched it. You have to have touched it then, in which case, close enough. I'm not keeping track of that. And I don't want you to worry if you accidentally drop it. What are you? Oh, you're that. Okay. So that's that. The intersection and this both self-manage their redstone. So you see this redstone is on because my section is 5. I'm here, section 5. If I come back over here, my section gets set to 101, which means intersection 1 is back on. Oh, this one didn't turn off. Dang. I was close. That's going to turn off as soon as your section no longer becomes 5. This whole area will turn itself off. It will not have the ability to turn itself on The only thing that'll turn it on is the intersection itself. All the intersections will be always running a small line of commands. Determine if you're in them, if you're going to the next wall, in which case turn on those walls. Actually, no, those don't always run. It determines if you're in them and you're coming into them, in which case turn off everything I own and turn on this. Right. I also kept some legacy redstone down here so you can compare it to what it was before. There's actually more redstone than this. You can see essentially the same chest. A little bit different, but essentially the same thing. A lot more redstone here. Like there's I don't even know what this is. I think this was a T flip-flop onto a repeating timer. So once this activated, it would repeatedly try to run this command, which I think is the puzzle solution? No, I have no idea what that is. And then it would turn itself off. Really complicated. But yeah, none of this is needed anymore. And it's like, down here's green, but this is needed. It's so much less. I like it. So there you go. That is, I know I didn't explain much of the puzzle. But this one in particular is very, this one's kind of interesting. I don't want to give too much away about it, except the fact that there is a puzzle. There's some trickery going on the whole time, and the redstone itself it's so neat. Look how neat this is. This is all the redstone for that wall, and a lot of this is puzzle reset. This whole chunk here is puzzle reset, which is clearing your inventory of all those items and anything you could possibly do with them. Yeah, that's it. This green wool is done, except for that one note I left myself, and the clear when you die. Other than that, it's done. Next episode will be the orange wool, which is fun putting this wool first. This is by far the wool with the biggest biggest bag of tricks. Like this wool I said has some tricks in it. This one is pure tricks and deceit, and it's awful, but I love it so much. It's because it's like, I don't know. It's good. I'm going to be very careful about how I record the next episode as to not give away this wool, because it's just and the redstone is actually pretty simple too. Like it's just this redstone on top here, a little bit on the side to manage chests in here. There's not a lot of redstone to this one, so the redstone for the new redstone is going to be like 5 stages. Actually, it's going to be a bunch of stages, but it's going to be less redstone per stage. But that's it. Thanks so much for watching. I hope I wasn't being too vague about everything, that you could still understand everything I'm saying, and it gave you some idea of some of the improvements that I've been able to make. All right, until next time. Bye-bye.